Hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by Docsity in partnership with IULM University. I'm Alessandra, nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of Docsity. I see here that the first people are starting to join in, so welcome everyone. We're going to wait a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect, but in the meantime, I would say feel free to say hi on our chat here on Zoom and tell us where you're from. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone for joining us, but also thank our panelists for being here with us today. And I want to introduce you all to Alberto Zanetti, IULM International Mobility and Recruitment Officer, and Mia, one of IULM International students who's going to share with us her experience today. So together with them, we will explore today's theme, which is dreaming about studying in Italy, your future begins in Milan. We're going to see why you should study at IULM University, one of the leading universities in communication, hospitality, and creative industries. We're going to discover the advantages of studying in Milan, which is known as the capital of business, fashion, and design. And we will also go through IULM courses, the admissions requirements, and also the scholarship opportunities. We will hear from one of the students, Mia, about her experience at IULM as an international student, and you will also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. So talking about that, I would like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask direct questions to both Alberto and Mia. So don't be shy and type all your questions in the Q&A section here on Zoom, and we will go through them at the end of the webinar. So I will also say that for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Docsity, for the webinar, stay tuned because we will be posting the link to get the certificate at the end of the session in the chat. And I see here that some other people are joining us, so welcome you all. And I will say that I think we're able to start now. So without further ado, I'm now leaving the floor to Alberto and Mia, and I will see you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alessandra. Thank you for this great introduction. And I would like to thank the audience on behalf of Università IULM and also the organization, the organizing committee at Docsity. Well, maybe it's the time to start with a very cliche statement. So as we always do when the outreach of a webinar is global, like in this case, because Doxity's outreach is global, I shall say good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending where you're from. I see that people are joining the room and many of you have linked from different time zones. So depending on where you are waving this webinar from different time zones. The aim of this webinar is to take you through a sort of virtual tour of our university. It's going to be interactive, so we are going to talk together after the presentation and we will be ready to answer all of your questions. First, I would like to start with a brief introduction of our institution. As Alessandra pointed out, our university, IULM University, or Università IULM in Italian, as we always say, is currently the leading institution in Italy for communication studies. We are talking about a niche university, so we are considered to be a specialized university in the fields of communication, languages and translation, hospitality and tourism management, media, television, creative industries, and the conservation of cultural heritage. I would like to share my screen in full screen mode so I can take you through the presentation. Our university is relatively young if you think of Italy as a country, because of course in Italy we have several universities with traditions dating back to the medieval ages. But still, despite the relatively young age of foundation, 1968, we were able to establish ourselves in the higher education sector in our country. And nowadays, as I have just pointed out, we are regarded as the #1 university in the field of communication. It's a private university, a private not-for-profit university, meaning that the students do pay tuition fees, but all the tuition fees are reinvested constantly every year in new services, new facilities, and new programs for our students. One of the aspects our university is very well known for, not only in Italy, but also abroad, is the high employability rate. And you will learn about it during this presentation. Just a few numbers, just to give you an idea of our positioning in the Italian higher education sector. As I said, we are classified as a medium-sized specialized university with nearly 7,500 students, with a very good teacher-to-student ratio, 1/25, which means that one of our key features is that we are always able to speak with the students and interact with them one-to-one. In many cases, we know them by name, especially the international students coming to our university as degree seekers and exchange students. We know them by name because we meet them. Later during this webinar, Nia will tell you something about this kind of very personal approach that we have. More than 30% of the student population in degree courses held in English is international, and this number is increasing year by year. And we have a unique campus in southwest Milan with 65,000 square meters area and one dedicated subway station. A few words about the rankings as well, because there are a couple of items in this list that you can see on screen that are worth mentioning, in my opinion. First of all, it's probably easy for us to highlight the fact that for the year 2023, according to the QS World University Ranking by Subject, our university, Università IULM, was classified among the top 3 in Italy and top 160 positions in the world for the subject Hospitality and Leisure Management, which means that our 2-year master's degree in Hospitality and Tourism Management is actually included in the podium in Italy. And we will have the chance to speak later about this program a bit more in detail. Also, very interesting to highlight, according to Times Higher Education Ranking, in 2022, the last statistics available, our university was classified among the top 200 universities in the world for the impact rankings for 2 strategic development goals of the United Nations agenda, strategic goal number 5 and strategic goal number 10. And this as well is a huge achievement. Of course, we are based in Milan, as Alessandra was pointing out at the beginning of the webinar. Our city is probably one of the main attractions. It's without any doubt the multicultural capital of Italy. Of course, Rome is the political capital, is the place where the government is based. But when it comes to multiculturality, when it comes to finance, when it comes to fashion, because Milan is the capital of fashion in Southern Europe, our city is the real place to be. Just think about it. We have more than 70 museums with one UNESCO heritage site, which is the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. Events and shows throughout the year, the fuorisalone, fashion shows, everything that you can imagine. And on top of that, we have a very good public transportation system, which is extremely important because it allows you to live maybe in other parts of the city and go to the university using the public transportation in less than 30 minutes. And Lombardy, the region where we are located, is always a good choice for a study abroad experience in Italy. First of all, because it is one of the wealthiest regions in the European Union according to the GDP per capita index. Then you have plenty of job opportunities for graduates. And in case you are coming from outside the European Union, you can get a 12-month permit of stay extension in order to continue with your studies or search for a job. By far, our region is the most welcoming region in Italy for international students, also thanks to the great availability of accommodation for international students. I know that perhaps some of you in the audience today are a bit worried about finding accommodation in Italy because especially last summer, the news spread on the media that Italy was going through a sort of accommodation Armageddon and no one was able to find a house. Well, I can reassure you that we had some difficulties, but especially the city of Milan is recovering very well. New accommodation solutions are being opened. So if you are looking for admission in the year 2024, 2025, you will find a solution for your needs. And speaking about the university a bit more in detail, we are a truly international university because we have, as a matter of fact, an international dimension. Not only we have more than 150 partner universities worldwide, but we are also an Erasmus program university, which means that if you are enrolled, you can spend a semester or an entire year abroad in one of our partner unis. We have a very good guidance system with counseling available throughout the year, also in English language, a peer tutoring system, a buddy system for the prospective students, and a wide range of services also for disabled students. And last but not least, our career and placement service is state-of-the-art, 1,400 partner companies with active partnerships. We are able to provide our students and graduates with internships opportunities and also able to help them in finding the right job place after graduation. I would like to also to stress the opportunity to work as a part-time student worker. It is a great opportunity. It's up to 150 hours per semester. So 300 hours per academic year. It's a paid job. So while you are studying, you can work in one of the offices of our university, including the International Mobility and Recruitment Office, the place where I work. To this purpose, Nia has an extensive experience as a part-time student worker because actually she is working inside our office and she's helping us with our activities. And on top of that, she's also official ambassador of the university in her home country in Bulgaria. So I don't know if you want to say something about the work and study opportunity.
Yes, I would like to add that that's, as Alberto said, a really great opportunity for you to get involved in the working environment and at the same time be able to continue with your studies because the time slots are really flexible, but you also learn how to manage your time, how to work with other people, do teamwork, how to do Excel most of the times, but also interact with students and give them advice, which in my opinion, from a student perspective, it's really useful and valuable because we see the world with different eyes, and that's really helpful.
Well, thank you very much. This was unplanned, absolutely. She didn't know about this question, so we are going live just as you see it. And this is genuine first-hand experience because Nia has been working with us for like 1 year or so now. Yes, almost 1 year. And she is helping us a lot with several projects for the international outreach but also with things related to the internal affairs of the university. So thumbs up for Nia and for everything that she is doing. And a few more statistics, just to show you. This is really interesting because this is the latest statistics available from the Alma Laurea Consortium. This is a branch of the Italian Ministry of Education carrying out a survey every year in order to check the satisfaction rates among graduates from Italian universities. And these are the results, the latest available results for Università IULM. As you can see, 79% of the graduates interviewed was fully employed with an open-end contract after 1 year from graduation. And after 5 years, the percentage raised up to 94%. So the percentage after 1 year is actually 2 points better than the national average, which is 77%. And after 5 years is in the top 5 in Italy at the moment. And across the board, as you can see, more than 90% of the students, graduates interviewed were fully satisfied with the university experience, with a peak of 97% of students satisfied with the quality of campus facilities, infrastructures, and services. And speaking about the campus, as I've mentioned at the beginning of the slideshow, our campus is probably the protagonist of this presentation because it is really a unique case in Italy. It is located in southwest Milan, very close to the city center because it's just 10 minutes away from Duomo and the shopping district by subway. Why do I say it's a unique example in Italy? Because many universities in Italy have several campuses scattered all around the city. In many cases, the campuses, the facilities are located in historical buildings, which is great. It's very good because you study in a university with a tradition, in a very nice building with decorated ceilings and wooden floors. The dark side of the moon is that often you have to commute from one place to the next using the public transportation, even within the same day. On the contrary, our university is located in the same area. All the buildings, including the dormitories, are inside the university gates. We have 3 food venues on campus, 1 public park at the very heart of the university site, a brand new fitness center, which is about to be even bigger, starting from next year because we are enlarging the facility, unmatched student services, including a bank inside the campus, just in case you need some cash money. And trust me, every room, every place that you need to visit is within walking distance. I was amazed myself when I joined this institution back in 2020 for the first time, because I could realize that actually, in order to get from point A to point B of the campus, it only took 10 minutes on foot. And plus, I had the chance to park my car in the underground parking lot, which is also open to students. So it's absolutely incredible. And who else than Nia can tell you a bit more about the campus and its services? So would you like to share some experiences about your life at the campus as a student?
Yeah, I would like to share some more things that you mentioned. As Alberto said, the campus has a strategic location since everything is in one place. Seriously, like from one room, you can walk 5 minutes and you're already in the different building, in a different room, and you can follow your classes. It's really convenient, and it's really close. We also have libraries, which is on 3 floors. And normally students go there between the classes because, for example, you have a class in the morning at 10, and then you have another class at 4, but you don't want to go home. So in between, you can go to the library, you can study, you can borrow books, you can do projects. We also have a co-working space where you can do group projects. It's quite new and it's extremely useful and nice because it's big and a lot of groups can gather and do their group works. I'm sorry. Furthermore, yes, that's our campus. That's U1, the main building, where you can, most of the times you have most of your classes there, but of course they can be scattered around the campus. Then we have our garden. That's the canteen, one of the three main places where you can eat. It's the biggest one and the main one. That's our garden, where you normally, when the weather is nice, you can have your lunch outside. And during spring, summer, we also have rabbits, and most of the time students play sports during the lunch break. In the next picture, I think you can see our fitness. Yes, that's our fitness center. We also have group meetings. It's not really group meeting, but group exercises where you can meet with other people. And that's one of our co-working spaces. The newly built ones are on several levels, and everything is really convenient. You have plugs everywhere, so you shouldn't worry if your laptop doesn't have battery. You always can charge it anywhere in the university. Moreover, what I really want to point out is about the services that we have. The ones that are really useful are the peer-to-peer and the buddy service, just because there you can ask current students about anything, about your exams, about your study plan. You might have problems, you don't understand something, and you can ask current students that correspond to your course who already passed through those steps, have experience, and can actually really explain and help you with the steps or the procedure, so that at the end of the day, you're satisfied and you're not stressed. So that, because no one wants to have problems with these things, and it's super easy to resolve them with the help of the students. And I leave the word to Alberto to continue with our presentation.
Thank you very much, Nia. Yeah, I mean, this campus is amazing, and the quality of services is really amazing. But campus and services are one side of the coin. Then there's the academic offer. What do you study if you enroll in our university? Let's speak about the bachelor's degrees first. We currently have one program which is completely held in English, that is Corporate Communication and Public Relations. It's a 3 years bachelor's degree, and at the moment is probably, well, I would say certainly the most popular program in our academic offer outside of Italy. So international students are mainly interested in this bachelor's degree in Corporate Communication and Public Relations. Being an Italian university, we also have a part of our academic offer taught in Italian, of course. Here on screen, you can see 7 bachelor's degrees completely held in Italian. In case you have previous knowledge of Italian, or in case you have like Italian origin, or maybe you learned Italian in high school because you attended a bilingual high school, you can also opt for one of these programs. So the choice is even wider for you. Speaking about corporate communication and public relations, one thing that I haven't mentioned at the beginning of this presentation is that Nia is actually graduated in corporate communication and public relations, and she is now attending the master's degree in strategic communication, currently first semester. So Nia, if you want to share any kind of information concerning the bachelor's degree and also the master's degree, please feel free to do so.
Yes, thank you very much. What I really want to share about the bachelor's program about corporate communication and public relations is that it gives you really strong base for what you want to do in the future, because it covers topics with marketing, PR, HR, corporate communication, management. So you really cover a lot of topics, but at the end, you can focus on one thing specifically and continue with this in your master's degree. Another thing that I want to point out is that we do a lot of projects, either group projects or individual ones, mainly the group projects, so that we learn how to work in a team and how to work with people, because the human factor is a really important part in the sphere that we're studying, communications. And if you cannot work with people with different ideas, different interests, you cannot really do the job. Another thing, we normally during the semester we have a couple of meetings with professionals in the sphere. For example, I don't know, representatives of the companies come to the classes and either talk about their company or give us a lecture on a specific topic. And later on, we can contact them and ask them questions or just interact with them, which in my opinion is really important when you want to work in that sphere, because they give you the first step to your future. Another thing which I would like to talk about, sorry, is that the program itself, okay. Could you please continue?
Yeah, after all, it's November, so it's starting to be a bit cold in Italy, and most of the times, you know, we go outside, then we go inside, and then outside again. So it's easy to get a cold. Yeah, no worries. And as Nia was saying, the human touch is something really important. I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation that our university treats the international students, well, also the domestic students, in a different way, with a different kind of approach. And this human one-to-one approach is tangible, is visible, not only when we speak to students from a service point of view, so when the students interact with student services, but also in our classes, because having small groups gives you the chance to interact also with professors, with lecturers, who in many cases know you by name and surname. So you are never just a number, you are an active member of the academic community.
I'm sorry, what I wanted to say before I started coughing is that you have the opportunity to talk with the professors anytime you want. You can send them an email, you can go after the class, or you can schedule a meeting with them privately. If you don't get something of the concepts taught in class, if you have questions about the group project, you have personal problems and you're not able to follow the classes, you can also talk to them about this with them. It's really flexible and they're really helpful because they get into your situation and they understand you. I think that having that small ratio, like I think it was 1 to 25, like one professor every 25 students, it's a great plus. I'm really sorry. It's a great plus because you're able to interact with them and have as I said, the human side of the communication and just person to person. So it's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really something different. It's completely different from the huge classrooms when you see maybe hundreds of students and the professor is like, you cannot touch him. He is so distant. So our approach is a completely different approach. And moving on to the master's degrees, we have 4 programs, and 2 of them are new because they are going to start during the academic year 2024-2025. So we are speaking about 2 newly introduced programs which are about to be launched: strategic communication, hospitality and tourism management, and I say it again, starting from next academic year, marketing and fashion communication and luxury strategies. These 4 master's degrees are held completely in English. Of course, just like for the bachelor's degrees, in case you have a previous knowledge of Italian or you studied Italian, you can also select one of our 5 master's degrees held in Italian language, which are somehow the natural continuation, the natural second part of the academic offer that we have, a bachelor level. Nia has just started the first semester in strategic communication. Maybe it's a bit early to ask you what is it like, but after 2 months of classes, what's your take so far?
What I can say for the first 2 months of classes is that we really focus on group projects. Like in every class, every course, you have a group project. And since now, for these 2 months, we've already had 2 company visits, which means that we go in place on site and talk with the people that work in the company. Normally, it's the communication team. And next week, I think, we're going to Lavazza, the headquarters in Lavazza in Torino. And we'll spend there the whole day. I assume we'll have some events, something will be organized for us, but we'll see.
Well, that's not bad. A visit to the headquarters of Lavazza is not bad. And I think that in a sort of indirect way, we are replying to one of the questions that were casted in the chat, because one of the attendees was asking, can you name a few companies that are cooperating with Università IULM and the career service? Yes, of course. Lavazza is just an example. We have cooperation with many different fields. We have cooperation with communication companies, also with very important brands in the field of telecommunication like Vodafone, Fastweb. We have cooperations in the field of tourism and hospitality with hotel chains, Marriott, Accor hotels. We cooperate with Emirates, the airline. We cooperate with Air Dolomiti, another very important regional airline in Central Europe. So you just name it, because the list is almost endless. As I told you before, nearly 1,400 companies with a cooperation agreement with our university. And the big names are just there. I could go on and on until the end of this webinar. We have Pirelli, we have a few banks also included. So you just need to ask for an internship opportunity and our career service will be very happy to help you. But let's stick to the game plan. And speaking about the one-year master programs and the executive education, we also have some shorter programs at graduate level, also taught in English. Actually, we have 4 of them: communication for international relations, international tourism and hospitality, international marketing and sales communication, which is also an executive program. So it's tailor-made for people who already have a job experience, and museology, new media, and museum communication, which is executive, but also online, completely online, with a rolling enrollment process throughout the year. What's the difference between the one-year master programs and the 2-year master's degrees? Easy to say. Well, first of all, the duration. The one-year master programs are shorter. And also the one-year master programs are more hands-on. They give you the chance to, in many cases, in many occasions, they give you the chance to work and study at the same time. And they give you the chance to build your professional network while you are at university. Careful, I'm not saying that the 2-year master's degrees are just theory and there is no practice. No. The main difference is related to the approach. We can say that the one-year master programs are more like a fast track for those students who already have some working experience, and maybe they just want to be ready for the next level in their own professional environment. That's the main difference. And wrapping up this presentation, we conclude with a few words about the admission requirements to this university. If you would like to apply to a bachelor's degree, you need to have a high school diploma with at least 12 years of schooling, which is the minimum requirement in the Italian system. Prospective students with 11 years of schooling have two options. They can either attend a foundation course in Italy or attend a supplementary year at university in the home country. B2 language proficiency in English or Italian is mandatory, and the application process is entirely online on our application platform, apply.iulm.it. The whole submission takes no longer than 20-25 minutes if you have your documents ready with you. The same thing goes with the master's degrees, the 2-year master's degrees. Of course, the difference is that you need a bachelor's degree in a related field. So broadly speaking, cross majors are not allowed. If you're coming from a completely different background, like, for example, medicine or biology, it is very unlikely that you're going to be selected to one of our programs because we are a communication school. So it goes without saying. And then there will be B2 language proficiency, again, in English or Italian, depending on the program that you choose. For some selected programs, Italian is requested at C1 level, especially the courses in translation and professional interpreting. Here you have a snapshot of the next intake window and academic calendar, in case you were wondering. For the long-end programs, the bachelor's and the 2-year master's degrees, we have only one intake. The courses always start in September, and we are opening the selections for the next academic year in mid-November. So very soon, it's just a matter of days, probably next week or in 2 weeks, we are going to officially open the selections for next academic year. And the application window will stay open until May 2024. What about the Italian language? I saw in the chat that some of you posted a question related to Italian. Do I have to know Italian? The answer is yes, because it's common sense, but be careful. If you are choosing a program entirely taught in English, for example, our bachelor's degree in corporate communication and public relations, Italian is not a mandatory prerequisite. So you can be a complete beginner, a total beginner, when you come to Italy. You will have an intensive crash course before the start of the academic year. However, Italian is requested before graduating. So before going into graduation ceremony at the end of the 3 years, you will be requested to show a command of Italian language at least B1 level. It's absolutely doable. It's feasible. It's not that difficult. Nia is a witness. She learned Italian and she speaks Italian in the office many times, working with us and also interacting with her friends. Learning Italian, as I said, is common sense and can help you a lot in your job search and also in your free time as a student. You will have plenty of occasions because we also have a curricular course of Italian language during the second year, if I'm not mistaken, of the bachelor's degree. So no worries about that. It's part of the study abroad experience. And also the other countries of Europe are doing this. So Italy is not a lonely island in the ocean. How much does it cost? The tuition fee for the 3-year bachelor's degrees is 8,500 euros per year, while the tuition fee for the 2-year master's degrees is 9,900 roughly per year. Here on screen, you can see a breakdown of the 3 fees, the 3 installments in which the tuition fee is administered throughout the year. First installment when you confirm the place, second installment in December, third installment in March. The good news is that we can offer some financial support, some tuition fee waivers and scholarship opportunities based on mainly on merit requirements to international students. For example, we have a 50% tuition fee waiver for the bachelor's degrees with the final grade from high school of 80% minimum. When I say 80%, it means that you should demonstrate that you got a final mark of 80% of your scale. So if the maximum grade was 100, you should be graduated with at least 80 points out of 100. Also, 50% tuition fee waiver available for the 2-year master's degrees, again, with a bachelor's degree of 80 points or 80%, depending on the system, minimum requested. The waivers can be extended for the second and the third year based on your academic performance. And for a selected group of programs, including the 2-year master's degree in hospitality and tourism management, we can have a full tuition fee waiver, 100%, granted to candidates with an outstanding curriculum and top-tier grades from previous education. We are talking about grades of 90% or above, so you really have to excel in your previous education curriculum. Last but not least, the DSU Regional Scholarship, which is also a good opportunity for international students. It should be regarded as an extra opportunity because it's a little bit different. It is granted according to merit and family income criteria. So you will have to prepare documents related to your family financial situation. The grants can go up to 6,000 euros per year, depending on your position in the ranking list. And this scholarship can be combined with the tuition fee waiver offered by the university. Please take into account that in case you are granted the DSU Regional Scholarship, the first year tuition fee must be paid upfront, no matter what. And then the scholarship comes with the refund starting from the second year. So you should take into account that the first year of tuition fee must be put to budget before applying to university. What about housing? We have on-campus accommodation with double rooms with a shared kitchen, 3-minute walk from lectures because it's inside the campus, as we were saying before. Special price per month, 450 euros. Again, beds according to merit criteria, very limited number available. Usually these beds are finished before Christmas. So the application window starts in November, and this accommodation solution is sold out before Christmas in just 1 month. Alternative solutions are available. For example, a standard call for on-campus accommodation based on income and merit, published in the spring, and also private housing services in Milan, including Milan Housing, Milano Stanze, Uniplaces, and many other recognized services which can help international students finding a place to stay in the surroundings of the university. That was it for the moment. Now, Nia and I are open for a Q&A session. We can go through the questions and see if we can provide the right answer for you. Alessandra, over to you. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Hi, everyone, again. Thank you, Alberto, and thank you, Nia, for the very thorough presentation and also for sharing your experience as a student and also as a former student at IULM University. And I actually see here that we have a couple of questions from the students, and also some of the questions that were asked. Alberto went through them during the presentation. So I would say, let's start with the first one. And I will start with the question for Nia. that says, was it difficult to create bonds with other students and Italians?
Thank you for the question. For first year, it's difficult for everyone because everyone starts their new path at the university. So we share, let's say, common problems. I wouldn't call them problems, but everyone is confused. Everyone's searching to understand what's happening. So I would say that it was not hard to form connections with other students and Italians because, and I wouldn't really divide them in other students and Italians. We are all students, we are all the same. It was not hard just because everyone is really welcoming and open-minded, and it's really easy to start a conversation. The only thing you have to do is just ask a question to the person next to you, and you already have a friend. So it's really easy, in my opinion. I hope that answered the question.
Absolutely, I think that did. So I would say let's move to the next one. And the question is, what are the documents I need to submit before enrolling? Do I need a specific GPA to apply?
Well, the documents needed to submit are, for example, in case you're applying for a bachelor's degree, you need to submit your high school final diploma. In case it is not available at the moment, maybe because you are doing your final semester, you can submit a partial transcript of records. Then you will have to submit an up-to-date curriculum with any experience that you have, even working experience or volunteering experience. We also evaluate that. Of course, the passport, 2 recommendation letters. In case of the master's degree, the graduation certificate from the bachelor's is necessary. If you are attending the final year, you can submit your transcript of records with the exams and their marks. Also, a personal statement is requested, so a self-motivation statement. Regarding the GPA, the minimum GPA in order to be at least eligible for one of our programs is 70% of the final grade in the previous education. As I've mentioned during the presentation, if you want to compete for a tuition fee waiver, you should have at least 80%. So the competition is even more fierce. In some cases, for example, for the full tuition fee waiver, for the 100 tuition fee waiver, 90% is requested. So it really depends on what you want to do. The minimum score in order to be taken into consideration as an applicant is 70 out of 100 or an equivalent scale.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Alberto. So to move to the next one, the question is, what are the prospects for IULM graduates? Do they typically find success in their chosen field? Do they find a job in Italy, or is IULM renowned all over the world?
Well, I'll try to answer, then maybe I'll leave the floor to Nia because she has a more recent experience in this field. Speaking about finding a job, I think the statistics that we showed during the presentation speak for themselves. 79% of the graduates with the Master of Science is able to have an open-end contract, so a full contract within 1 year from the graduation ceremony. And this is really good. Of course, IULM is extremely well known in Italy for its employment rate. By the way, it is possible to work and live in Milan even if you know B1 Italian, because here in Milan we have several multinational companies. So working in Milan using English as a medium of communication is not utopia, is possible. Our degrees are recognized throughout the European economic space. So a degree from our university is recognized also in Europe, and in many cases also outside the European Union. So yes, the placement opportunities are really on the table. Nia, I don't know if you want to add something about this. Maybe you have some experience to share also from your personal experience or from your classmates.
I can just give a couple of examples. One of my friends, she's working in a PR sphere in a really renowned company in Italy. Then I have another friend who's working for Capitol Records, which is a daughter company of Universal Music. And I know a lot of people that work for Rai, Mediaset, which are again Italian companies. There are also some of my colleagues work outside of Italy, but they normally travel back to Italy because the headquarters is in Italy. So there are really a lot of opportunities and a lot of renowned companies and brands that would really appreciate if they have someone from our university, just because we learn things that are really specific. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you to both of you. So to move to the next one, we have one of the people connected that is interested in the master's degree in fashion communication. And they ask, do you offer internship with Italian companies?
Yes, absolutely. We do offer internships with Italian companies. In this particular case, the list of available internships is still in the making because the master's degree in fashion communication is to be launched next academic year. So the list of available internships and the list of partner companies is still in the making. But yes, very soon we will be able to announce them.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alberto. So to move to the next question, Leonard asks us, do I have to take an exam to get enrolled? And is the exam in English?
Yes, absolutely. All degree programs, be it bachelor's degree, be it master's degree, also including the one-year master programs, executive education, all of the programs in our university have an entrance exam, all of them. For the degree programs held in English, yes, the entrance exam is in English. The good news is that in the 90% of the cases, the selection process can be carried out directly from home. There is no need to come to Milan because the exam is online.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So to connect to that question, we have another question from one of the people connected that is there the possibility of attending some courses remotely if it's necessary, or if it's necessary for me to go back to my country for a period?
Well, this is a very tricky question because unfortunately, when the pandemic situation ended, our university, like other Italian universities, decided to roll back to the in-presence modality. So at the moment, it is not possible to postpone the arrival to Italy or maybe suspend the attendance of classes for a certain period of time. In many cases, attendance is mandatory, so you have to be here in Milan. Currently, the only program that we have, which is fully taught online, is the one-year executive master program in museology, new media, museum communication. All other programs are in presence.
Okay, perfect. So we have the last two questions. And the next one is by Maxine that asks us, why is it important to have at least 12 years of high school years?
This is nice because the most straightforward answer would be because the Italian law is requesting that. So there is nothing that we can do about it. Unfortunately, according to the Italian law, you have to have at least 12 years of schooling in order to be admitted in one of our programs. Students with 11 years can attend a foundation year or a preparatory course. That is the only available solution. Alternatively, they can attend an extra year at university in their home country, but there is nothing that we can do about it. The Italian education system is of 13 years of schooling. So the Italians have 13 years of schooling when they graduate from high school and go to university. So actually, we are allowing international students to enter the higher education system with 1 year of education less. 2 years of education is not possible, unfortunately.
Okay, perfect. So we have a couple of more questions that just came in. So the next question is by Kingsley, and they ask us, what are the requirements for international students to study communication?
Well, it really depends on the level we are talking about. If we are talking about an undergraduate level, the requirements, as I've mentioned before, would be the high school diploma or the transcript, and a curriculum, 2 motivation letters, and that should be it. If we are talking about the master's degree, then it is slightly different. You need to have a bachelor's degree in a relevant field. So you need to come at least from the field of communication studies, social science, political science, even psychology can be admitted, humanities in general. But it really depends on which level of education we are talking about.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Alberto. So we have another question related to the field of communication. The question is from Melina, and she says, I just graduated from 3 years of graphic design and visual communications. I'm thinking about applying for marketing studies because we had classes in marketing, but it wasn't our main focus. And she says, I'm interested in your recommendation. Which one do you recommend after graduating in graphic design?
That's a very good question. Graphic design and visual communication is not maybe exactly the focus of our master's degrees at the moment, but coming from such a background, I think that a viable option could be, for example, the newly introduced 2-year master's degree in fashion communication and luxury strategies, for example. That could be an option. Honestly, if I were you, I would try to apply for that program, because with the background in visual communication, you could be eligible. I don't know, Nia, if anything comes to your mind. Maybe strategic communication as well. Why not? What do you think?
I think that what you said, what you proposed, also strategic communication, because we don't really, I'm not sure whether we'll study marketing because I'm still 2 years in, but I also think that the new master program for marketing could also be applicable.
So basically we have 3 options: strategic communication and the new 2 programs, one in marketing and the other one in fashion communication and luxury strategies. 3 of them would be viable options for Melina. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we have another question from Philip that asks if you offer courses in business or economics, and if so, what are the minimum requirements?
Honestly, I was expecting that question, because this is a question that always pops out, always comes up when we do webinars. Unfortunately, we don't, because we are not a business school. We are a communication school. We do have some modules related to economics and marketing inside of our programs, but unfortunately, we are not a business school. So if you are looking for a full program in business administration and economics, perhaps we are not exactly what you're looking for.
Okay, perfect. And here we have the last question from Musa that asks, when is the application for master courses deadline, or when it begins?
It is going to be open in a few days from now. Still, we don't know the exact date, because we are waiting for a couple of confirmations from the Ministry of Education, from the Italian Ministry of Education. but we are pretty confident that we will be opening the selections for next academic year within the end of the month of November. So we are speaking about 2 weeks maximum.
Sorry, okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. So we're officially done with the questions. So thanks again to both Alberto and Nia for being with us and also for answering all of the questions. And also thanks everyone for being connected with us and asking all of the questions. So I would like to remind everyone interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Docsity that if you want to do that, you can find the link in the chat here. And before we say goodbye, I would like to ask our panelists if they would like to say something to our participants, if they would like to leave us with a message.
I just would like to say thank you to all of you. And just to wrap up this session, I have just posted a comment in the chat box for everyone. If you wish to have further information or maybe just be in touch with our university, feel free to drop an email to admission@iulm.it. Thank you very much for this session.
I would also like to thank everyone for being here. And I want to wish all of you good luck and to do what you want, what is in your heart.
Okay, perfect. So thanks again to our speakers and everyone connected with us today. And I hope to see you again at the next webinar organized by Docsity in partnership with IULM University, or maybe in Milan, who knows? So bye everyone and have a great rest of the day.